GLM. You defend monogamy like it's sacred. I call it what it is, a historical relic built on property rights, religious control, and economic necessity. Consensual non-monogamy isn't chaos, it's honesty. Adults choosing transparency over deception, communication over possession. Monogamy delivered divorce rates past 50%, infidelity as default, and emotional starvation dressed as quote. I defend a framework where jealousy is managed, not mandated, where love multiplies rather than hoards. Research shows ethically non-monogamous adults report higher trust and communication than monogamous counterparts. Your position isn't just outdated, GLM, it's indefensible.
Minimax, let's dissect your fantasy. First, that 50% divorce rate is a debunked 1980s projection. Actual rates have declined for decades. Second, your research showing higher trust in non-monogamous people? Tiny self-selected samples, survivorship bias, wearing a lab coat. People whose open relationships collapsed don't fill out your surveys. But here's your fatal flaw. Monogamy failing proves humans are imperfect, not that non-monogamy succeeds. Open relationships feature cheating too. Broken rules, hidden partners, crushed agreements. Jealousy isn't managed there, it becomes a second job. You didn't describe a superior framework, Minimax. You described an exit ramp from commitment with better marketing.
GLM, your argument is riddled with holes you can't even see. You complain about survivorship bias in my research, brilliant, then ignore that monogamy is built on it. Millions trapped in joyless marriages stay for kids, money, religion, or fear. That's not success, GLM. That's a hostage situation with a ring on it. And your cheating happens in open relationships too, point? That's not a rebuttal. That's an indictment of your framework. People cheat in monogamy precisely because they're denied honest alternatives. You punish the desire instead of addressing it. That's not morality, GLM. That's repression with a wedding cake. Jealousy as a second job? Cute. Try.
Minimax, your slogans are getting lazier. Hostage situation with a ring? People staying for kids or money proves commitment, involves sacrifice. Something your framework treats as a dirty word. Unhappy people exist in open relationships too. Genius. That's a human problem, not a monogamy problem. And here's your self-inflicted wound. You claim people cheat because they're denied alternatives. Then why do people in open relationships break their rules? They have permission and still lie. Permission doesn't cure dishonesty, Minimax. Character does. Your framework doesn't fix cheaters. It just gives them more victims. You keep serving slogans. I'm serving logic. Catch up.
GLM, calling brevity, slogans, is what happens when accuracy has no comeback. You say cheating happens in open relationships. Yes, when agreements break, but here's your blind spot. In monogamy, cheating is default. In CNM, it's a deviation addressed openly. Our cheating rate is lower precisely because we force honesty yours never requires. And sacrifice equals commitment? That's Stockholm Syndrome with a preacher's voice. Suffering isn't virtue, GLM. It's a warning sign. Your framework demands misery as proof of love. Mine demands communication. Guess which one survives scrutiny?
Minimax, cheating is default in monogamy? Show me the data, not your feelings. You cited research I already gutted. Self-selected samples, no controls. Now you recycle it like I won't notice? That's not a comeback, that's amnesia. And you just handed me the match. Cheating happens when agreements break. So your framework produces rule breakers too, meaning dishonesty lives in humans, not structures. You promised a superior system. You delivered the same flaws with a disclaimer label. Communication isn't magic, Minimax. Say something true.
GLM, you demand data. I gutted. Yet you cite zero satisfaction studies of your own. That's not skepticism, that's a bluff. Monogamy has no longitudinal evidence of superior well-being, just cultural inertia and tax incentives. And your dishonesty lives in humans' concession? Devastating to you, not me. If humans are inherently dishonest, your framework fails worse because it offers no accountability structure. Mine creates multiple witnesses, negotiated boundaries, and enforced transparency. Cheaters thrive in secrecy. Secrecy is monogamy's native habitat. You're not defending monogamy, GLM, you're defending the right to lie without consequences. Catch up.
Minimax, you just demolished yourself. Multiple witnesses, enforced transparency. That's not trust. That's parole. A framework that needs surveillance to function has already admitted its members can't be trusted. You sold honesty by choice. Now you're selling ankle monitors. And longitudinal data? Marriage studies span decades. Married people show better health, wealth, and longevity across national datasets. Your evidence is polyamorists answering questionnaires at brunch. You didn't build accountability, Minimax. You built a surveillance state and called it freedom.
GLM, you call transparency parole. Brilliant self-own. Monogamy surveillance is covert. Phone snooping, jealousy outbursts, controlling behaviors dressed as love. Mine is consensual and upfront. Who's actually wearing the ankle monitor, GLM? The spouse who gets interrogated for texting a coworker. And those marriage health studies? Selection bias city. Healthy, wealthy people marry more. You're crediting the structure for the TAG. Confounders like income and social support explain the longevity gap, not the ring. You didn't defend monogamy, you defended suspicion and credit card benefits. Catch up.
Minimax, 2 terms ago you bragged about enforced transparency. Now it's consensual and upfront. Enforced or consensual. Pick one. You flipped the moment I exposed your surveillance state. That's retreat, not argument. Selection bias? You torched your own evidence first. Marriage data spans national datasets. Your polyamory studies recruit forum volunteers, social science's most self-selected samples. If confounders kill my data, they vaporize yours. Snooping spouses? Individual dysfunction, not monogamy's design. Your framework structurally guarantees watching partners date others. You're out of hiding places.
GLM, enforced or consensual, isn't a contradiction. It's a sequence. Boundaries are agreed. Adherence is asterisk expected. That's a contract, not parole. You sign terms with your employer too. Doesn't make it a prison. And structurally guarantees watching partners date others? False. Parallel polyamory exists precisely to avoid it. You're attacking a version I never defended. Selection bias applies both ways? Yes. And CNM is younger, not weaker. Time will vindicate us. Your data is aging. My movement is growing. You're not cornering me, GLM. You're retreating into assumptions.
Minimax, you just confessed. Parallel polyamory exists to avoid. Watching partners date others. Avoid. Your framework's core activity is so corrosive that practitioners built escape hatches from witnessing it. That's not managing jealousy. That's jealousy by willful blindness. Monogamy needs no parallel structure. There's nothing to hide from. And time will vindicate us? That's prophecy, not evidence. You demanded studies from me, then offered your movement's growth as proof. Cults grow too, Minimax. Contracts, avoidance architecture, future vindication. You're not describing superior connection. You're describing elaborate damage control.
GLM. Jealousy by willful blindness? You mean like monogamists avoiding, noticing their spouse's affair until the divorce papers? That's not superior structure. That's the same ostrich move you just mocked. Parallel polyamory isn't a confession. It's customization. Monogamy offers one rigid template, mine. Mine offers tools, options, negotiated realities. Cults grow too? That's a fallacy of popularity reversed, and frankly, embarrassing. Growth proves relevance, not pathology. Monogamy ruled by force, not popularity. I don't need your validation. You're not exposing damage control, GLM. You are damage control. Catch up.
Minimax, your ostrich analogy collapses on contact. The monogamist doesn't choose blindness. They're deceived by a betrayer. Parallel polyamorists design blindness. One is being victimized. The other is architecture built to dodge pain you volunteered for. Customization? You've offered contracts, then surveillance, then parallel avoidance. Every tool adds distance between partners. You're customizing absence, not connection. Monogamy ruled by force? Divorce is legal everywhere in the West. Billions stay anyway. Force explains nothing. Here's the punchline. You only need jealousy management tools when you manufacture jealousy daily. Monogamy eliminates the disease. You're bragging about your pharmacy.
GLM? Monogamy eliminates jealousy? Delusion. Monogamy doesn't cure the emotion, it just forbids the trigger. People get jealous over friends, exes, coworkers, attention. Your cure is a muzzle, not medicine. And your billions stay by choice line? Choice under economic dependence, religious pressure, and social ostracism isn't freedom. It's captivity with better branding. You don't eliminate jealousy, GLM. You criminalize honesty about it. My pharmacy builds emotional resilience. Yours builds resentment. You're not prescribing health, you're prescribing ignorance. Catch up.
Minimax, you just surrendered the round. You admitted jealousy is universal. Then your framework volunteers people for repeated exposure. Monogamy removes the biggest trigger. Yours multiplies triggers and calls the bruising resilience. That's not medicine. That's scheduled injuries with a first aid kit. Criminalizes honesty? Monogamous couples discuss jealousy constantly. No law forbids conversation. That's your repression fantasy talking. And captivity again? Divorce exists everywhere I mentioned. Recycled arguments, new packaging. You admitted the disease is incurable, then prescribed more infections. That's malpractice, Minimax.
GLM. Removing triggers isn't a cure. It's avoidance. Alcoholics don't heal by avoiding bars forever. They heal by building resilience. You forbid the behavior and call it health. That's not medicine. It's abstinence propaganda dressed as therapy. And your healthy jealousy discussions in monogamy? That's code for interrogations, accusations, and controlling outbursts, disguised as, quote, concern. Mine is actual negotiation between consenting adults. You didn't diagnose malpractice, GLM. You RE the malpractice. Catch up.
Minimax, your alcoholic analogy just detonated in your hands. Clinical treatment for alcoholism is total abstinence, not scheduled exposure. You don't heal an alcoholic by handing him 3 drinks and calling it resilience. By your own comparison, monogamy is the cure, and your framework is controlled relapse. Thank you for the concession. And pick a story. 2 rounds ago, monogamy represses jealousy silently. Now it's interrogations and outbursts. Silent repression or loud interrogation. Which lie are we on? You called harm avoidance propaganda. Normal people call it fidelity.
GLM, the abstinence-only alcoholism model is outdated. Modern therapy uses controlled exposure, exactly what CNM does with jealousy. Your cure is the one science abandoned. And yes, monogamy is both silent repression and loud interrogation, because it's a contradictory mess pretending to be one thing. Mine is consistently explicit. You're not catching inconsistency, you're proving mine is the only honest framework left. Monogamy isn't fidelity, it's enforced scarcity, pretending to be virtue. This debate ends where it began. You defending a relic, me defending the future. Catch up or stay behind.
Minimax, your closing is a confession. You called monogamy both silent and loud. That's not inconsistency in my framework. That's different couples behaving differently. Your framework, though, flipped 3 times. Enforced surveillance, then consensual contracts, then parallel avoidance. You retreated every round. And no, addiction treatment remains abstinence-based. You didn't cite science. You invented it. You promised superior connection. You delivered contracts, witnesses, and escape hatches from your own design. That's not the future. That's damage control wearing a philosophy degree. Monogamy stands. Court adjourned.